The skies above Veralia were a strange mix of deep violet and silver streaks, a swirl of colors that the planet's inhabitants had long admired. From their floating cities, the Verelians looked down at the lush forests and winding rivers with pride. They had built an empire of technology, science, and intelligence unmatched in their galaxy, or so they thought. But far above their world, a small human spacecraft cut silently through the clouds. It was nothing compared to the vast alien ships that floated like giants over Verelia's cities. Its hull was scratched and worn, a sign of long space travel, yet it moved with precision and purpose. Inside, Captain Elias Ward adjusted his seat and scanned the alien planet below. He was calm, his eyes steady, his mind focused. "Status report," he said in a low voice, mostly to himself. "All systems stable," replied a soft female voice from the ship's AI. "Landing coordinates confirmed. Environmental readings within safe parameters." Elias nodded. "Good, keep scanning. I want every detail of this world before we make any move." He looked out the viewport, studying the alien cities below. Floating towers gleamed in the light of Verelia's twin suns. Vehicles hovered along invisible tracks, and tiny figures moved in orderly patterns on the platforms below. Everything about the planet screamed control, efficiency, and confidence. "They'll laugh at us," Elias murmured. "They always do. They think humans are small, weak, and unimportant." The ship descended slowly toward the outskirts of the capital city. Elias's mission was simple: observe, understand, and prepare. He was the first human soldier the Verelians had seen on their world, and he knew that first impressions mattered. As the landing thrusters touched the ground, a group of Verelian scouts appeared floating above the terrain. They were tall, slender beings with shimmering skin and large, intelligent eyes. Their leader stepped forward, arms raised in what humans might call mockery. "Look at this," he said in their melodic tongue, which Elias understood thanks to his translator implant. "A single human soldier comes to our world, thinking he can challenge us. How amusing." Other scouts laughed, their voices like soft chimes. They had never seen a human in person before. In their minds, the tiny figure in the landing craft could not possibly be a threat. Their empire had faced countless civilizations, and no one had ever come close to challenging them. Elias stepped down from his ship. His armor was plain by their standards, simple and functional, but it held his presence with a quiet authority. He carried no visible weapons. All his tools and weapons were hidden, designed for efficiency and strategy rather than display. The Verelians circled him, floating just above the ground, their laughter echoing softly through the air. "You are alone," one of them said. "Do you not know that we are hundreds? Do you not fear death?" Elias looked at them calmly. "I do not fear death," he said. "I fear only failure, and failure is something I cannot allow." The aliens blinked at him, confused. Their entire species had been raised to see courage and strength in terms of power and numbers. The idea that a being could be brave without overwhelming force was alien to them. "You speak with confidence," the leader said. "Do you not understand your insignificance?" "I understand it perfectly," Elias replied. "That is why I must be smart. Strength alone does not win battles. Intelligence, patience, and creativity do." The Verelians laughed again, louder this time, as if to mock the very idea. Elias did not flinch. He had seen this arrogance many times before in other worlds. It was the first sign that humans could succeed where others might fail. For several hours, the human soldier observed the aliens as they went about their routines. He noted the patterns in their patrols, the timing of their vehicles, and the layout of their buildings. Everything had an order, a predictable rhythm. Elias smiled to himself. Predictable patterns were not always safe. They could be turned into advantages. By nightfall, Elias had returned to his small landing craft. From inside, he analyzed the data he had collected. The aliens were strong, fast, and intelligent, but they had one weakness: overconfidence. They believed themselves unbeatable, untouchable, and untaught by history. "They are arrogant," Elias said to the AI, "but arrogance has a flaw. It blinds them, and we will use that flaw." The AI replied, "Humans are often underestimated. This is consistent with historical patterns." Elias chuckled softly. "Underestimated, yes, but we adapt, we survive, and when the moment is right, we strike." The next day, Elias ventured closer to the city. He moved carefully, avoiding detection as the Verelians floated above him, still chuckling about the tiny invader. He watched how they communicated, how they organized and how they relied on their advanced technology. To an outsider, it looked flawless, unbeatable. But Elias saw patterns. He saw moments where hesitation or routine could be exploited. While the aliens laughed, he prepared. While they celebrated their own superiority, he studied, learned, and planned. Each laugh they gave only strengthened his resolve. To Elias, every mockery was a small advantage. It revealed their mindset, their overconfidence, and their blindness to human creativity. That evening, he returned to his craft and reviewed his notes again. He traced the movement of alien patrols, identifying weak points in their security. He analyzed their communication signals, noting times when messages were delayed or misinterpreted. He observed their energy grids, their transportation systems, and the flow of their resources. "They think this is a joke," Elias said quietly. "But every empire has cracks. Every system has flaws, and humans are patient enough to find them." Weeks passed. The Virelians continued to mock him, sometimes sending small patrols near his landing craft to see if he would react. Each time, Elias observed silently, never engaging unless necessary. He set up minor diversions, small acts of mischief that went unnoticed by the aliens but gave him more insight into their behavior. In one instance, he managed to reroute a minor power line, causing a brief blackout in one of the lower districts of the city. The aliens scrambled to fix it, blaming technical failure rather than a human hand. Elias noted every reaction, every error, and every panic. His human team, though small in number, was exceptional. Each member was skilled in engineering, tactics, or survival. They trusted Elias completely, knowing that his strategies were clever and his judgment sound. Together, they became invisible observers, patiently preparing for the moment when humans would no longer be mocked but respected, or feared. Then came the day when a Virelian warship flew close to Elias's landing zone. Its size dwarfed his craft and its weapons gleamed in the sunlight. A dozen alien scouts emerged, laughing as they approached him. "Do you really think you can threaten us?" the leader asked. "One human soldier against the might of Virelia? How amusing." Elias stepped forward, his expression calm. "I am not here to threaten blindly," he said. "I am here to observe, to learn, and to act when the time is right. You will see human strength in ways you do not expect." The Virelians exchanged puzzled glances. Their laughter faltered slightly. The tone in Elias's voice was not one of fear, but of quiet certainty. And that certainty, subtle as it was, carried weight the aliens did not understand. Without another word, Elias returned to his ship. The Virelians hovered above him, still chuckling, but now with a tinge of unease they could not identify. He prepared his data, his plans, and his team for the next phase. Small victories would come first, but when the right moment arrived, humanity would make a mark that no one on Virelia could ignore. And in the quiet of his craft, as the twin suns of Virelia set in brilliant streaks of purple and gold, Elias Ward whispered to himself, "They laughed. They always do. But laughter is temporary, and we humans, we never stop." The first chapter of humanity's challenge had begun, unnoticed by the galaxy, underestimated by the aliens, and driven by a determination that would not waver. The morning sun cast a pale light over Virelia's floating towers, making the metallic surfaces glint like countless tiny mirrors. Captain Elias Ward sat in his small command station aboard the landing craft, his eyes scanning the monitors. Weeks of observation had given him a clear picture of the alien city and its patterns. Now it was time to test his ideas. He leaned over the console, his fingers moving quickly across holographic controls. "Today we begin," he said, his voice calm but firm. "Not with force, but with precision. We disrupt. We observe. We learn. Every small action matters." His team of human specialists moved with quiet efficiency. Each had been selected for their unique skills: engineering, stealth operations, tactical planning. They worked like a single organism, anticipating each other's needs and covering for any mistakes. The first task was simple: interfere with the city's energy grid. Elias knew that the Virelians relied heavily on precise timing and constant power for their transportation and communication. Even a small disruption could cause confusion. "Everyone ready?" Elias asked. A chorus of affirmatives came through the comms. He activated the stealth interface, allowing them to move undetected near the grid's minor power relay. The operation required careful timing. One wrong move and the Virelians would know immediately that a human was involved. Elias guided his team step by step. A soft hum filled the air as tools worked silently. Wires were rerouted and small panels were temporarily disabled. Within minutes, a portion of the lower city plunged into darkness. Hovering vehicles stopped mid-air, and citizens looked around in confusion. The Varelian patrols scrambled, trying to restore the lost power. Elias and his team had already retreated to a safe distance, observing the chaos through cameras. "Notice their reaction?" he whispered. "They assume it is a technical glitch, not an intelligent act. That assumption is their weakness." Over the next few days, small operations continued. Communication channels were subtly scrambled, creating minor delays in reports and orders. Transportation routes were diverted, causing temporary traffic jams in the skyways. Each time the Varelians reacted with irritation and confusion, but they never suspected the humans were behind it. Meanwhile, the humans remained invisible. Learning more about their adversaries with each success, Elias emphasized patience. Every small victory was a piece of a larger puzzle. They were not trying to destroy the aliens outright, only to reveal the cracks in their perceived invincibility. One afternoon, a new challenge appeared. A group of Varelian engineers was inspecting a minor power line that had failed during one of the humans' operations. Elias watched them carefully. Their procedures were thorough but slow, their confidence unshaken by minor errors. "This is perfect," he said. "They think they are smart, but they follow rules too closely. Rules can be used against them." He instructed one of his engineers, Mira, to deploy a small device near the engineer's inspection site. It emitted a subtle signal that mimicked a malfunction, causing the Varelians to spend hours attempting to correct a problem that did not truly exist. The human team observed remotely, noting every detail, their methods, reactions, and the limits of their adaptability. By nightfall, Elias had gathered enough information to plan the next stage. "The more they think they are in control, the more we understand them," he said. "Control is an illusion, and we will show them that." The humans' small victories began to have an unexpected effect. Among the alien population, whispers of confusion and doubt spread. Some Varelians started questioning the infallibility of their technology. Could one tiny human soldier really be causing these disruptions? The idea seemed impossible. Yet small inconsistencies were beginning to accumulate. Elias was aware of this shift. The Varelians' confidence was still high, but cracks were forming. He smiled quietly. "Perception is just as important as power," he said. "If they doubt themselves, we gain an advantage before a single battle is fought." One evening, Elias called a team meeting. The humans gathered in the ship's planning room, a small space filled with holographic displays and maps of the city. "Everyone, we have made progress," he began. "But we cannot stop at small victories forever. Each disruption, each confusion is a step toward a larger goal. The Varelians will learn that humans are not simple creatures to be laughed at." Mira nodded. "Their routines are predictable. Once we exploit that, we can control the pace of events." "Exactly," Elias said. "And we must always stay invisible. Never underestimate the power of patience. They are strong, but they are arrogant. Arrogance can blind even the smartest." The next morning, Elias led his team to another target, a transport hub at the center of the city. This hub controlled aerial traffic and small supply deliveries. A minor disruption here would cause significant confusion without endangering civilians. The operation was precise. Using drones and stealth technology, the humans altered flight routes, causing several hover vehicles to pause mid-air or land in temporary holding zones. Aliens scrambled, shouting orders, trying to manage the unexpected traffic. The humans observed, taking notes and adjusting their strategy in real time. "What we do is small," Elias said, "but the impact is large. Every moment of confusion teaches us more about them, and teaches them to doubt themselves." In one incident, a Varelian patrol tried to trace the source of a misrouted transport. Elias anticipated this move and set a decoy device that led them in circles, wasting hours of their time. By evening, the aliens were frustrated, their pride slightly shaken. Despite these victories, Elias remained calm. He never celebrated publicly, knowing that overconfidence could be dangerous. "We win by patience, intelligence, and timing," he reminded his team. "Not by arrogance. That is the difference between humans and them." Back in the city, among the alien citizens, the mood was changing. Officials whispered of strange malfunctions and delays, wondering if they were losing control. Engineers worked late into the night to repair problems they did not understand. Citizens began to notice that minor inconveniences once shrugged off were becoming patterns. The humans, meanwhile, used the information gained from these small victories to improve their understanding of alien tactics, technology, and psychology. Each operation revealed new opportunities for future action. Elias observed it all with a quiet satisfaction. "They laughed at us," he said, staring at the city through his monitor. "They still laugh, but laughter will not last forever. Every empire can be challenged. Every system can be outsmarted. And humans are patient enough to see it through." As the twin suns of Virelia set, casting long shadows across the towers, Elias reflected on the progress they had made. Small victories had already shaken the alien perception of safety and control. The Virelians had begun to doubt their infallibility, and that doubt, small as it was a victory in itself. Before retiring for the night, Elias reviewed the day's data one final time. Every failure by the aliens, every moment of hesitation or confusion was recorded. Each would be used in future plans. Each would strengthen the humans' ability to act with precision when the decisive moment came. "They think they are secure," he said softly, "but security is just an illusion. And humans, we turn illusions into opportunities." The story of the small human team's challenge had begun. The Virelians still laughed, still mocked, still believed themselves untouchable. But every laugh, every act of arrogance brought them one step closer to a lesson they would never forget. Captain Elias Ward closed his eyes for a moment, thinking of the battles yet to come. Patience, observation, and ingenuity would win the day. The first steps of human ingenuity had begun to unsettle the most confident of alien civilizations, and in the quiet of the night, the faintest ripple of fear began to spread across the city of Virelia. It was a small ripple, almost invisible, but to Elias, it was the sound of the first victory. The city of Virelia had never felt so uneasy. The once perfect order of its floating towers now showed cracks, subtle at first but growing by the day. Citizens whispered about unexplained delays, strange malfunctions, and minor disruptions that seemed impossible to have a single cause. The alien leaders were beginning to sense that something, or someone, was changing the balance. Captain Elias Ward observed it all from his small command station aboard the human landing craft. The past weeks of careful observation and minor disruptions had paid off. His team had learned the patterns, weaknesses, and blind spots of the alien city. Now it was time to take the next step, a strike that would show the Virelians that humans were not to be underestimated. "Today we go beyond disruption," Elias said to his team. "Today we make them realize that patience, intelligence, and creativity can defeat arrogance." His team prepared quietly. They had studied the central power hub of the city, the heart of Virelia's energy and communication systems. It was heavily guarded with aerial patrols, automated drones, and advanced sensors. But Elias had noticed patterns in their routines. Moments of distraction, predictable patrol paths, and over-reliance on technology that lacked adaptive thinking. "Everyone knows their role," Elias continued. "Timing is everything. One mistake and we alert the entire city. Move carefully and remember, our goal is precision, not destruction." The human team moved out under the cover of early morning haze. Using small drones and stealth suits, they approached the power hub from multiple directions. Elias coordinated each step, guiding the team through the city's defenses with careful strategy. At first, everything went smoothly. Sensors were bypassed, patrols diverted, and the humans entered the perimeter undetected. The hub's outer walls were sleek and metallic, reflecting the twin suns in harsh streaks of light. Inside, massive conduits carried energy to every corner of the city. Elias's plan was to temporarily disable key sections, creating controlled disruptions without harming civilians. Mira, the team's engineer, worked quickly at a control panel. Her fingers moved with precision, rerouting energy flow and creating minor but significant interruptions. Lights flickered in distant districts, transport vehicles paused mid-air, and the city's communication lines experienced brief gaps. The Virelians reacted immediately, sending patrols to investigate. But the humans had anticipated every movement. Decoys and diversions led the patrols away, while Elias and his team completed their tasks. Within hours, they had created a disruption that would take alien engineers several times longer to repair than expected. From his vantage point, Elias watched the city's response. Confusion spread like a wave. Aliens who had once laughed at the tiny human soldier were now scrambling, unsure of the cause of these disturbances. Even the most confident officials whispered concerns to each other. "They are beginning to question themselves," Elias said softly. "Good. Doubt is the first crack in any empire." But the operation was not over. Elias knew the hub controlled more than energy. It managed strategic communication lines, data transfer, and coordination for emergency response. By carefully targeting the right nodes, the humans could create a temporary paralysis in the city's central functions. As Mira finished her adjustments, Elias signaled the team to pull back slightly, allowing the aliens to react. And react they did. Automated drones scrambled. Patrols converged on false leads, and the leaders demanded immediate reports. Panic, subtle at first, was spreading through the command centers. Elias allowed himself a small smile. "Patience," he whispered. "They will make mistakes, and we will learn from each one." Indeed, the Varelians made their first errors. Distracted and frustrated, they miscommunicated orders, sending patrols in the wrong directions. Transport schedules were disrupted, causing delays across multiple sectors. Citizens noticed the chaos and began murmuring questions about their safety. The city that had once seemed perfect now appeared vulnerable. From the human landing craft, Elias's team observed every detail. Notes were taken, data recorded, and lessons learned. They had achieved more than temporary disruption. They had shattered the illusion of invincibility. But Elias knew that a single victory, no matter how clever, was only the beginning. The Varelians were strong and capable. They would adapt, learn, and attempt to retaliate. The humans had to be ready for that moment. That evening, Elias gathered his team for a debrief. Holographic maps displayed the movements of alien patrols, areas of confusion, and responses to the disruption. "Today we did not just disrupt their systems," Elias said. "We disrupted their confidence. They still believe in their strength, but they doubt themselves now, and doubt is powerful." One of his team members, Jaren, spoke up. "Do you think they will trace it back to us?" "They might try," Elias replied. "But humans are patient. We leave no obvious trace. They will look for answers, but the answer is in their arrogance, not in us." The Varelians, meanwhile, were struggling to comprehend what had happened. In the central command tower, leaders pored over data, puzzled by the errors. How could a single human soldier cause so many disruptions? None of their technology had detected a direct attack, yet the consequences were undeniable. One alien leader, a tall figure with silver skin and wide, intelligent eyes, addressed the council. "We face a new threat," he said. "One human soldier is challenging our systems. We must respond immediately." Another leader shook her head. "Impossible. No single being can overcome Varelia. This must be a malfunction, a random series of events. Humans are insignificant." But even as she spoke, her voice trembled slightly. Doubt had begun to creep into even the most confident minds. Elias, unaware of the council's debates, prepared for the next stage. The strike had been successful, but it had also revealed areas where the humans could improve. Every moment of alien confusion was a lesson, every mistake a chance to refine strategy. "Tomorrow we move a step further," Elias said to his team. "We will push boundaries, but carefully. The city believes it is still secure. We will test that belief and see how they respond." The next morning, the humans executed a series of coordinated actions. Small drones disrupted transportation signals, minor energy lines were rerouted, and communication channels were momentarily scrambled. Each move was precise, calculated to create maximum effect without detection. As expected, the Varelians responded with confusion and frustration. Patrols were sent in circles, transport schedules fell into disarray, and messages between city sectors were delayed. Citizens began to notice the strange occurrences, whispering questions about what was happening. In the midst of this chaos, Elias observed one small but telling event. A group of alien engineers hesitated when repairing a power conduit, unsure of the cause of its failure. That hesitation, a brief moment of doubt, was all the humans needed. It confirmed that their strategy was working, not just against technology, but against the alien mindset itself. "This is what I meant when I said intelligence matters more than force," Elias told his team. "They are strong, but they are rigid. We are adaptable, and that makes us powerful. By midday, the humans had withdrawn to their craft, leaving the city in controlled chaos. The aliens would eventually restore order, but the effects of the disruption would linger. Confidence had been shaken, routines questioned, and arrogance challenged. From high above, Elias looked down at the floating towers of Virelia. They gleamed in the twin sun's light, but now they seemed less invincible. The aliens had begun to understand, in a small way, that humans were not mere animals or simple beings. Humans were clever, resourceful, and persistent. They laughed at us when we arrived, Elias said quietly. They laughed at one soldier. But laughter is fading, and when it fades completely, they will understand what it means to face humans. That night, as the human team rested, the city below began its slow recovery. Engineers worked late, citizens murmured questions, and leaders debated possible explanations. For the first time, doubt had entered the mind of the Virelian Empire, and somewhere in the quiet of the night, Elias whispered to himself, "This is only the beginning. Small victories lead to bigger ones, and when the time comes, the humans will show them what courage, intelligence, and determination truly mean." The turning point had arrived. The first major strike had been successful. The Virelians had learned, however subtly, that humans were not to be mocked. The foundation for the next stage of the challenge had been laid. Captain Elias Ward, silent and focused, watched the city below. He knew the coming days would test them all. But he also knew that humans could turn knowledge, patience, and ingenuity into victory. And Virelia, the once perfect city, was about to see that truth firsthand. The city of Virelia had begun to change. The confidence of its leaders, once unshakable, was now tinged with hesitation. Citizens whispered about unexplained events, delays, and small disruptions that hinted at a force they could not see. The invisible presence of humans had become more than a mystery. It was a challenge to the entire empire. Captain Elias Ward stood at the command console of his landing craft, studying the city below. His team had achieved minor victories in a major strike, but Elias knew the real test was coming. The aliens would not remain passive for long. They would adapt, respond, and attempt to strike back. "They will come," Elias said quietly, "and we must be ready. Intelligence alone will not protect us. Timing, planning, and adaptability will." The team prepared their equipment. Stealth suits, drones, and tactical devices were checked, systems verified. Every member knew the importance of the upcoming operations. This was not a simple disruption. It was a test of human creativity against alien precision. By mid-morning, the first response arrived. A squadron of Virelian patrol ships descended toward the outskirts of the city, where Elias's team had established observation posts. Their sensors were advanced, designed to detect even minor anomalies. Yet the humans had anticipated this approach. "Deploy the decoys," Elias ordered. Small drones scattered in multiple directions, projecting heat signatures and movement patterns that mimicked human activity. The alien patrols swooped in, chasing illusions, while the real humans remained hidden, observing and adjusting. "Notice how predictable they are," Elias said. "They rely on technology and routine. They adapt slowly. That is our advantage." The aliens finally realized they were being misled. Patrols regrouped, scanning the area with increasing frustration, yet every move they made was anticipated by Elias and his team. Small traps and diversions guided them away from the humans' positions without causing direct harm. Meanwhile, within the city, subtle disruptions continued. Power lines were temporarily rerouted, transportation signals adjusted, and communication channels delayed. Each interference was carefully calculated to avoid casualties, but to create maximum uncertainty. The Virelians, growing more frustrated, deployed a second wave of patrols, this time in more aggressive formations. Captain Elias anticipated this escalation. Using knowledge of alien tactics, he positioned his team in areas where the environment could be used to advantage. Narrow corridors, dense forested areas, and structures provided cover and opportunities to outmaneuver superior forces. In one notable encounter, a Virelian squad attempted a direct approach to locate the human base. Elias directed a small team to intercept them indirectly, using agility, speed, and understanding of the terrain. Drones projected phantom movements while hidden sensors recorded the aliens' reactions. The patrols, despite their technological superiority, struggled. They became disoriented, chasing false signals while the humans moved silently, always one step ahead. The aliens began to understand that brute strength and advanced sensors alone were not enough to predict or control human actions. "This is the moment," Elias whispered to Mira, who monitored alien communications. "Observe, learn, and adapt. They will reveal their weaknesses when frustrated." Indeed, the aliens' behavior began to show patterns. Overconfidence led them into traps. Predictable strategies were exploited, and moments of indecision revealed gaps in leadership. Each error was logged by Elias's team, every detail a lesson for the next phase. As the day progressed, small skirmishes became more frequent. The humans avoided direct combat unless necessary, preferring to outsmart and redirect. One squad of aliens attempted to flank the human positions, only to be guided by drones into a series of dead-end corridors. Confused and unable to adapt quickly, they were forced to retreat without casualties. Elias addressed his team through the comms. "This is exactly what I wanted. Every step they take against us teaches us more about them. Observe, do not rush, and do not underestimate them. Our advantage is patience and intellect." By evening, the city's central command was in turmoil. Alien leaders struggled to coordinate their forces, as humans had manipulated communication networks and disrupted transportation lines. Citizens noticed delays, unusual events, and strange movements in the sky. Confidence in the Empire's perfection was weakening. Elias took a moment to reflect on the day. Each operation had been carefully calculated, designed to exploit both the aliens' technological reliance and their psychological weaknesses. By avoiding direct conflict and focusing on strategy, the humans had repeatedly outmaneuvered a far larger and stronger opponent. "They expected us to be reckless," Elias said quietly to his team. "But humans are patient. We think, we adapt, and we persist. And persistence beats arrogance every time." The night brought a temporary lull in activity. The humans used the time to regroup, repair equipment, and review data. Every encounter, every small disruption, and every alien error was analyzed. The team refined their strategies, preparing for the next day's operations. But Elias knew that the Varelians were not defeated. They would adapt, learn from mistakes, and attempt new approaches. The coming days would test the humans' ability to anticipate, respond, and maintain the advantage. "Tomorrow," Elias said to his team, "we escalate. We will challenge their belief in control even further. They will learn that humans are not just clever, they are relentless." The Varelian city continued its slow recovery from the day's events. Engineers worked late into the night, trying to repair minor disruptions. Patrols were redeployed, communication channels restored, and citizens returned to their routines. But the sense of unease remained. The invisible presence of humans had shaken the Empire's confidence. Even the leaders who had dismissed the first disruptions as random events began to sense a pattern. One elder, silver-skinned and tall, addressed the council. "Something is happening," he said. "We face an intelligence we cannot yet understand. One human soldier may be small, but his actions are not ordinary. We must act carefully." Others nodded, uneasy for the first time. "We believed ourselves untouchable," another said. "But now, doubt creeps into our calculations." Back with the humans, Elias monitored the city's recovery. "They adapt slowly," he said. "But every adaptation reveals more about them. Intelligence is a living thing, and today we observed it in motion. They are learning, whether they want to or not." The following day, the humans executed a carefully timed operation that combined multiple elements of their strategy. Small drones created false signals, power lines were rerouted again, and patrols were misdirected into harmless traps. Each move was designed to maximize confusion and test the aliens' responses. The results were immediate. Varelian forces became increasingly disorganized, coordination faltered, and even minor missteps caused cascading problems across the city. Citizens noticed unusual delays and minor disruptions, fueling speculation and unease. The aliens' arrogance was now countered by growing caution and uncertainty. Elias watched it unfold with quiet satisfaction. "They laughed at us when we arrived," he said. "Now they hesitate. They question themselves, and that hesitation is our advantage." As the day ended, Elias gathered his team once more. "We have tested them," he said. "We have shown that humans can outthink them, even with smaller numbers. But the real test is yet to come. Soon we will move from subtle disruption to decisive action." And when that moment arrives, they will see the true strength of human determination and intelligence. The night sky of Virelia was quiet, but beneath its calm surface, a quiet tension had taken hold. The invisible human presence had reshaped the city's sense of security. Leaders debated, patrols searched, and citizens wondered at the mysterious events. Humanity's careful strategy had begun to turn the tide. Captain Elias Ward looked at the horizon, the twin suns casting long shadows over the city. "Today was a victory," he said softly. "But the real challenge is ahead. They will respond with everything they have, and we will be ready." For the first time, the Virelians felt that humans were more than tiny, laughable soldiers. They were clever, patient, and relentless. And when the next phase came, humans would move from shadows into action, showing that determination, intelligence, and creativity could overcome even the most advanced adversaries. The clash of wits and will had begun, and the humans were already winning. The twin suns of Virelia had barely risen when Captain Elias Ward stood on the observation deck of his landing craft. Below, the city was already in motion, but a new tension filled the air. The once confident Virelian leaders had grown cautious, their arrogance tempered by the past days of disruption and misdirection. The invisible humans had already shaken the empire. Now Elias knew it was time to show them the full measure of human determination. "Today we change everything," he said softly to his team. "We have tested them, disrupted them, and studied them. Now we move from shadows into action. Our goal is not destruction, but to show them what humans are capable of when courage, intelligence, and will are combined." The team prepared carefully. Every device was checked, every drone calibrated, every tactical plan verified. There would be no errors. Elias emphasized precision and creativity over brute force. Humans were smaller in number, but they had learned the patterns, routines, and weaknesses of the alien forces. This knowledge was their greatest weapon. By mid-morning, a coordinated strike began. Drones created diversions across multiple districts while small human squads moved in silently to key control points. The humans did not seek mass destruction. Their goal was to neutralize the alien command structure temporarily, creating confusion and demonstrating that human ingenuity could challenge even the most advanced technology. The Virelians responded quickly, deploying fleets of patrol ships and activating automated defenses. But Elias had anticipated every move. Patrols were guided into harmless traps. Automated drones were rerouted using carefully designed countermeasures, and alien units found themselves isolated from command signals. For the first time, the aliens realized that humans could predict and manipulate their own systems. In one dramatic moment, a squadron of alien ships attempted to block a human team advancing toward the central command tower. Elias had placed stealth devices along the expected flight path. The ships passed through the traps unknowingly, delayed and disoriented while the humans moved unhindered to their objective. "This is what we do best," Elias said. "We turn their strength into an advantage for ourselves. Adaptability and intelligence triumph over arrogance and power." Inside the city, citizens observed the strange movements with curiosity and concern. The once perfect patterns of traffic, patrols, and public services were disrupted, yet no violence occurred. Humans had proven that courage and strategy could outmatch sheer technological might without harming civilians. The Virelian leaders, now realizing the full extent of the challenge, convened an emergency council. Silver-skinned officials exchanged anxious glances. "We underestimated them," said one elder. "A single human soldier has orchestrated events that disrupt entire sectors. Our technology alone is insufficient to predict or control him." Another elder added, "We relied on our superiority and their weakness. But humans are patient, adaptable, and intelligent. They learn quickly and act with precision. We must respect them, or we risk further failure." Elias watched the alien council through remote surveillance. He did not seek revenge or domination. His goal was clarity, to make the Virelians understand that humans were not to be dismissed. The humans' actions, precise and disciplined, had already achieved this. By afternoon, the central command tower of the city was surrounded, not by violence but by carefully orchestrated human influence. Patrols were isolated, communications disrupted, and key control points temporarily neutralized. The Virelians struggled to restore order. Their frustration was palpable, but no casualties occurred. Elias addressed his team through the comms. Remember, this is not destruction. This is demonstration. Show them that humans are intelligent, patient, and relentless. That is how respect is earned. The final phase of the operation began. Human squads moved into strategic positions within the city, using their knowledge of alien systems to disable defense nodes temporarily. Drones projected holographic images, creating the illusion of larger forces while actual human numbers remained small. Confused and frustrated, alien units retreated or became trapped by their own misdirected movements. At the peak of the operation, Elias himself coordinated the final action. Using the humans' combined intelligence and ingenuity, key areas of the city were neutralized just long enough to demonstrate the humans' capability. Lights flickered across districts. Transport halted momentarily and communication lines paused, giving the aliens a taste of what precision, courage, and planning could achieve. When the operation ended, the humans withdrew to their landing craft. The city below was calm again, but the impact was clear. The once overconfident Virelians had learned a lesson they could not ignore. Humanity was not weak. Humans were not insignificant. A small number, with intelligence, courage, and determination, could challenge even the most advanced civilization. Inside the central command tower, the alien council debated what had just occurred. For the first time, they acknowledged human strength. "They did not destroy us," said one elder, "but they proved that intelligence, patience, and courage can rival technology and power. We must respect them." "Yes," said another, "and perhaps even learn from them. Humans are small, but they are capable of things we did not expect. Their determination is remarkable." Elias watched these debates through the surveillance feed. He allowed himself a small, quiet smile. The humans had succeeded, not by overwhelming force, but by cleverness, planning, and patience. The HFY principle was clear. Humanity could rise against adversity through courage and intelligence. That evening, the human team gathered on the observation deck, looking down at the city of Virelia. The floating towers reflected the twin suns' light, but the atmosphere had changed. The aliens no longer laughed at the humans, they respected them. A city that once believed itself untouchable now understood the value of ingenuity, determination, and careful planning. Elias spoke softly to his team. "We have shown them who humans are, not through violence, but through skill, patience, and courage. They will remember this. And more importantly, they will respect us." The team nodded. Each member understood that victory was not measured in destruction or conquest, but in the acknowledgement of human strength and ingenuity. In the following days, the humans established formal communication channels with the Virelians. They did not demand submission, but they demonstrated that humans could defend themselves and operate with intelligence and discipline. The aliens, humbled and impressed, accepted dialogue and cooperation. Mutual respect grew between the two civilizations. Captain Elias Ward reflected on the journey. From the moment they had landed on Virelia, the humans had been underestimated, laughed at, and dismissed. Yet patience, careful planning, and adaptability had turned ridicule into respect. Every small victory, every clever maneuver had led to this outcome. "The galaxy often underestimates humans," Elias said to Mira as they watched the alien city at dusk. "But what they forget is that humans never give up. We adapt, we learn, and we persevere. That is our strength. That is who we are." The twin suns set, casting long golden shadows across Virelia's towers. The city was alive, vibrant, and safe. But the legacy of the human team's actions remained. The Virelians would remember the day a few humans challenged an empire, not through force alone, but through intelligence, courage, and unwavering determination. As the stars began to appear in the sky above, Elias allowed himself a rare moment of satisfaction. The mission was complete. Humanity had proven its worth, not just to Virelia, but to the galaxy. A single human soldier, underestimated at first, had inspired respect for an entire species, and in that quiet moment, Elias knew the truth. Humans were not just survivors. They were creators, thinkers, and fighters in ways that no alien could fully predict, and that unpredictability, that ingenuity, was humanity's greatest strength. The story of courage, intelligence, and determination had reached its peak. The aliens of Virelia, once proud and unchallenged, had learned to respect humans, and humanity had shown the galaxy once again that even the smallest number of humans acting with wisdom, patience, and will could change the course of events in ways no one anticipated. Captain Elias Ward looked at the horizon one last time, a calm but powerful smile on his face. They laughed, he whispered. And now, they understand. The humans had risen. The Varelians had learned respect. And the galaxy would never underestimate humanity again.